to the Tonya Hoffman's Fabulous TV Show. I am Tonya Hoffman, and this is my Fabulous TV Show. And like always, I have an incredibly fabulous guest star today, Miss Christine Powers. Hey, Christine.
Hey, Tonya. I don't know if I can meet your enthusiasm, but I'm going to try, girl.
Yay! Well, it's always enthusiastic because, that's one of the, I guess, the pleasures of me getting out of my comfort zone and getting over my introvertness is that I get to meet so many fabulous people like yourself. And it's so exciting. And I want to invite everyone who's listening to come and join us and start being part of our incredible community at Public Speakers with an S, associationallspelledout.com. Plus, you'll want to come to our incredible conference this year. It's July 1st through the 3rd in Vegas because we like to have a good time. So come and meet the most incredibly nicest experts you will ever meet in your life. That's just what I do, is I create this incredible gift of nice people. And so come and join us. Go to Public Speakers with an S conference.com to find out all the details and get registered today. All right, so let's get into Miss Christine. So Christine, tell us a little bit about your amazingness, because you're going to be one of our speakers at the conference and you're going to do a surprise for everybody. So tell us a little bit more.
Should I just tell them I'm doing a surprise or tell them what it is?
Yeah, you go ahead and tell them.
All right. So when you and I met recently, I had the opportunity, very unexpectedly, to sing. Along with being a speaker and a writer and a teacher and a mentor, I happen to also have this voice. I don't really quite know where it comes from, but it's big and it's powerful. It's kind of like dragon song. In the opera world, you would say I'm a lyric spinto soprano, very technical. But basically what that means is I have this big, beautiful, booming voice that can sing over an orchestra. And I had the opportunity to just off the cuff sing from my heart. And magic happened, which is what always happens when I sing from my heart. Key words. People's hearts open in response, and it's really beautiful. So that's how we met, and so that fabulousness is what's going to bring me to your conference, and I can't wait. I'm so excited to meet people, to spend more time with you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to do this for you. So that's a little bit of my fabulousness.
Well, I know, because, I'm rarely impressed. I know it's kind of sad that I say that, but I'm rarely impressed with people. And not too many people really stand out, because everyone starts to kind of sound like each other because they don't really, like you said, talk from the heart and sing from the heart. When you were on stage, I was so moved. I mean, I was crying, and I just never get that emotional. So when that if y'all listening, that's how amazing she is.
Yeah. What's really funny about that is it became very emotional for me because when I sang, I was in a very vulnerable place, which, by the way, is the paradox of power. When we're in the ultimate vulnerability is when we tend to just naturally have a lot of power, and we don't really think of that. But from this very tender place, I was getting down from the stage, and I heard this voice somewhere say, I want her to come to my conference. I had no idea who it was, and I thought, oh my gosh, so the next morning it penetrated my mind. Who was that? Who was that? And so what did we run into each other in the coffee shop? And you said, I want you to come to my conference. And I said, is that you? Was that you? So I was really delighted. And the magic of it was so spontaneous, and I was so open-hearted in the moment that I couldn't get in my own way. Yes. I was just, in direct connection with everyone there, with no ego, no thought of presentation, no thought of how do I look, how am I going to sound. I just offered.
I think that is the true value of that moment, was to teach people that take it. So many people, they have an opportunity and they step back. And they're like, no, I'm not ready. Because I hear that all the time. I'm like, oh, hey, let me have you on my virtual summit. Oh, let me have you on my TV show. And they're like, oh, I'm not ready. I got to get things all ready. And I'm like, ready for what? And so that proved in that moment that you are always ready, right? You just got to take it.
Yeah, you have to be able to get out of your own way. And, it's just the ego that really wants to keep us in place and keep us safe. And I get that, we all get that. That's what our ego is for. It knows, how we've constructed the boundaries of our lives, and it likes things neat and tidy, and it likes us not to get hurt. And so we tend to have, ego pop up immediately. And ego happens to be the best friend of doubt. So when we really doubt ourselves, if there's any little bit of doubt, here comes ego, and it's going to shut us right down. So it's a very powerful thing. And I agree with you. I would encourage anyone listening and watching this that if you have an opportunity, just lean into the discomfort, lean into the fear. I'm sure maybe not everyone's heard this, but fear is false evidence appearing real. And that's very powerful. It's false. It's not true. We all have something to offer that's unique. We really do. And fabulous. Tonya, I have one of my favorite quotes that I've shared a lot with people is before I met you, which is go for fabulous, because perfection is nothing more than a hungry ghost.
Nice.
So go for fabulous. Go for messy.
Right?
Life is messy.
Well, and I think it becomes, when you open yourself up, you also allow people to see that they are just like you. And I think that's what, I've always strived. And it's always kind of frustrating to me when I go someplace, like I was at the conference, we met each other, and I try to be as, approachable and, whatever as possible. Because I always think of myself as like, why would anybody want to come up to me? And I had this lady, she came up to me at the very end. She's like, I wanted to come and say hi. I'm like, well, why didn't you? She goes, I was a little, I don't know, intimidated. I'm like, what do I need to do to say I'm approachable, But it is about, and she said when I was on stage that she could relate to me because I'm just who I am. I'm not, You
really are. You really are. I mean, far and away, my experience of you is you show up as you are in the moment, authentically, with no apologies, and you bring it. You bring it. And, that might intimidate people, but they're really going to respect you, and they're going to gravitate toward that because it's authentic.
Well, and I hate when you meet somebody, especially if you see them on stage or, whatever, and then you meet them and they're like two different people. You're like, who are you? And why are you so fake? And I understand that. So I never wanted to be that type of person, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll have to, that's part of what I work with people on is this fakeness. This layer upon layer, it starts before we're even born. It starts the moment we're born, and we are fed all kinds of beliefs, and we're told what to like, what to do, how to be, how to dress. And so it's no wonder that by the time we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, it really doesn't matter. But when we mature, we really have no idea who we are because we've never been allowed to explore it. So we all have this fake persona constructed by our good friend ego to keep us safe and in the lane. And what I love to do is work with people and say, no, that's not what we're here for. That's not what you're here for. It's not what you came to do. It's not who you really are. So let's start stripping away the layers. And inevitably, it's messy and can be painful, but it's exquisitely beautiful. And that's who we are. We each are exquisitely beautiful underneath all those layers. So,
I know. I remember in 2005, I always loved showing people because they always, like, what? Because when I used to be an incredible introvert. And so I always loved showing them the picture of me. So this is me 2005 as an introvert. And ladies, I was going to a holiday gala. This is
come on.
Kayla. I know. People are like,
looks like
wow,
you're going to a wake.
I know. Thank you. I look like someone is like, don't look at me. And it really was someone who says, I'm not someone special.
Yeah.
And I read a quote, sometimes quotes just kind of hit us in the right moment. And it said, life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. And I started looking like, well, gosh, all these years I've been trying to figure out who I am, find out who I am, when all I had to do was go create the person I really wanted to be. And it's kind of like what you were saying, is we put all these masks and what other people think we should be doing and saying and talking like, and then just kind of stripping that away and saying, okay, who do I want to create myself as authentic, not creating yourself as someone else or creating yourself as fakeness of you, but who you really are.
That's fantastic. Let me ask you a question. When you were not in that place, who suffered when you were inauthentic? Who was the one that was suffering?
I really think that it's truly not only myself, but everyone around me, because for me, I was incredibly negative. I drew to negativity. And I totally get it, right? We all kind of go through horrible things in our lives. I went through a lot of horrific things in my life. And I understand why I pulled back and why I was an introvert. But when I was 38, I was like, I am too old to be in a victim mentality. And I decided that I needed to change it. And I pushed out fears, like, right? Just like you kind of pushed out your fear on stage and just did it anyways. That's what I had to do.
Yeah. I love what you just said there, because in my own experience, when I don't share who I really am, I suffer, and everyone around me suffers. And I think the greatest gift that any of us can do is to give ourselves the self-permission to be who we are. And it's the greatest gift we can give to the world. Yeah. We each, being a singer, I like to use a lot of musical analogies, and we're all part of this cosmic symphony, and we all have a part to play and an instrument to play. And if it's missing, something's missing, or if it's off key, it doesn't quite sound right. And so many of us just diminish ourselves and think that we don't have anything vital to contribute unless we're reaching, thousands of people, or it's not true. You can touch one person and set off a tsunami, and so just I'm glad to hear you say that. And, I also find for many of us who are in the work of transformation, from the stage, and that's really takes a lot of guts and courage. A lot of us have backgrounds that have been fairly traumatic, or things that have occurred that we had no choice but to go through the fire, to go through the gauntlet. We had no choice. And well, that's not true. We could have collapsed, but we didn't. We didn't. So can you share with me? I'd love to know one of the things that really transformed you and was a turning point for you.
I started networking and going to chambers of commerce, networking groups, and I started looking at people that were amazing in my local community, right? They would walk into the group and people would jump up and run over to them and hug them and give them a referral, and they'd be so happy to see them. And I'm like, I want people to be happy to see me. And, it's this kind of, I really wanted to feel like I was a part of the community, because I had so isolated myself, and I did it to myself, right? Mm-hmm. Ever since I was a kid, I isolated myself, and I get it again because it kept me safe in times that I needed to be that way, but it wasn't serving me anymore. And I was like, well, she doesn't look anything different than me. Why shouldn't I be able to walk in and people say hi to me? And so that's kind of, I started looking at not transforming myself into her, but looking at what does she do, and then how can I do something similar, and does that fit me? And you just kind of start owning little bits and pieces of you as you start shedding, the big onion to find, the juicy heart inside.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's my experience as well. Yeah, I hope that people watching this are resonating and going like this out there, and just know that Tonya and I are rooting for you. Whoever you are, we really, really are. We're rooting for you to give your gift of whoever you are to the world.
Yeah, and reach out and get to know Christine. And myself. It's amazing to me how many times I'll message somebody on Facebook. I'm like, hey, I heard you were an amazing coach or amazing speaker or amazing whatever. And they're like, oh, that's so nice of you. And then, of course, they want to get to know you. Reach out to people and say, hey, I saw your show. I saw you on that show. And it's amazing how we want to connect with each other. So just come reach out and say hi. So, Christine, tell us, I know you've got an amazing free offer you want to give our listeners today.
I do. So we haven't really touched on it too much, and maybe we can a little bit be after this. But I do offer mentoring and coaching, and I teach on a variety of topics related to what we were talking about. And for me, in my life, who I am and how I show up cannot be separated from my spirituality. So just know that that's where I come from. And what I mean by spirituality is nothing to do with religion and everything to do with believing and coming to understand the wholeness and the perfection that we are as we are. And that's quite the journey. And it kind of falls into that kind of mysterious realm of spirituality. What is spirituality? But if you are interested and you would like to take a topic in your life that you're stumped with, can't get around, you have questions from watching us, I would love to offer you 20 minutes of my time devoted exclusively to you. And in addition to that, I have a recording that I created. It's a meditation. It's called Song of the Morning Star. And it's a meditation that includes my voice. And I also play and work with crystal bowls. I'm also a sound healer. So people may want to know what that is. And it's a beautiful meditation that just kind of takes you on a journey. So it's very simple to activate this opportunity. You can go to my website, which is christinepowers.com. Don't forget the // and then, of course, the word is fabulous. And you can sign up and download the meditation right there.
Awesome. So go to christinepowers.com /fabulous.
Yeah.
And take advantage of that now.
Yeah, I would. No, I'm serious. I would. I don't, people who work with me, let me be clear, it's not for the faint of heart. And it takes a little courage. One of the gifts that I have is I can see people pretty intuitively, and why bother to waste time dancing around something? So if you're interested in really moving forward or really getting to the heart of something, contact me. If you're not, then I invite you to not contact me. That's the way I roll.
These people are like, hey, I'd like to be a speaker. And then you get into the really don't want to be a speaker. You're like, well, then why did you contact? It's just kind of like, okay, whatever.
But, and the journey never stops. Tanya's not perfect. I'm not perfect. The work always continues because, there's always another layer to be unpeeled. So, not to put myself out there as having all the answers, but what I have found is the people that gravitate toward me, all you have to do is be one step ahead of someone to be helpful to them. And so I have had the opportunity to be helpful for many people who are waking up to themselves, waking up to, the illusion that they've created in their lives. Like for me, honestly, it was when I turned 30 and I had married my college sweetheart. I had 2 young children. I had a business. I was working 7 days a week. And I would sit in my business typing, and I would be fantasizing my eulogy because the way I was going to get out was I was going to die from breast cancer. Wow. So I woke up and I had no idea where to turn, and I had no idea what to do. I thought I was beginning to go a little cuckoo. So I understand, this is happening to more and more people, and they don't know where to go. They don't know where to turn. So I promise you that Tonya and I have walked that walk. So, she's already made the offer to reach out as well. And so with that, that beautiful gift of paying it forward, and serving, that's the energy that I come from, and I know Tonya comes from that energy as well.
Absolutely. All righty, everybody. So again, we've come to a conclusion of my show. I know, it's so sad. But Christine's going to be back on for another one, right, Christine?
I'm looking forward to it, because we have to talk about so many things like crystal bowls and singing and sound healing and da-da-da-da-da. I would love to. Thank you.
It's like, I love being around people that have like a wealth of knowledge, because you just never run out of information. So remember to go to christinepowers.com/fabulous. Take advantage of our incredible offer. And then don't forget, I want to see you at the Public Speakers Conference this year. So go to publicspeakersconference.com and get going to Vegas so you can see both of us live and in person.
And if you do come, promise that you're going to reach out to both of us.
Absolutely.
No intimidation. When you come, when you come, there's still plenty of time to book your air tickets, and actually I have to say the venue looks great, and the pricing, the hotel pricing is fantastic. I'm actually flying in a day early so I can relax, and I've actually offered to Tonya to help her set up. She may not need it, but it's a great opportunity to go spend some time for yourself and invest in you. Invest in you. You're your best asset. Absolutely.
All righty, everybody. We will see you next time on the Tonya Hofmann's Fabulous TV show. Yay! Bye, Christine. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Tonya. Thank you.